Hi, my name is Carl Byrd, and I'm doing my group leading report for my HSCO 511 course through Liberty University. Um, I am a grad student, and this is my final class, so I'm hoping to finish all of the school that I have and move on to continuing in the counseling realm, really particularly um, focusing on like life coaching and even may even go more into dialectical behavioral skills therapy. I think that's something I would really enjoy. Um, the meeting that I held was a meeting about race, and it was about how racism has played its part in really three different areas in people's lives, and how they were raised, and some of the things that they thought or were taught, and how we currently are, and how we utilize racism or see it playing out in our society and our lives, how we handle it, and then how we are going to move forward, especially dealing with our children, because a lot of us that were participants have children. What are we going to teach our children? How do we show them how to combat it? Different things in that nature. It took place on the 28th of June at my home between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. It actually went a little longer than 8 p.m. with conversation, but we did cut it at 8 p.m. Had a setting of 8 participants. Each participant that was there, we had a young man who was in a biracial marriage. I actually married him and his wife a little over a year ago. Young couple in their early 20s. Another older gentleman, black gentleman, who's in a biracial marriage, has two children. They've been married for 6 years. An older gentleman, black male, who is married to another black female, and they've been married for 22 years. And another black male who is actually a former and retired chief of police for one of our local cities. A white male who is married to another white woman. They have two children. He grew up in a mostly military family. Another white male who grew up in the local area that we are living in now. He has two children, married also. An older white gentleman who is somewhat of a mentor of mine, um, and he's been married for a while. His family and my family are very close, and like I said, I really consider him as a mentor. And then a white male friend of mine from high school. He was actually my brother's best friend, my younger brother's best friend. But with the time that he spent and our family spent together and growing up, really consider him as like a brother and family member of my own. So he participated via FaceTime. Again, the goal of the group was to ultimately gain a better understanding of who we are as brothers who serve under the same Christ. And that understanding would be one which would deepen our empathy for one another, gaining a perspective of life from other individuals of different and similar racial demographics. We hit, like I said, on individual biases, the grounding of those biases. We also hit on how we were raised individually and how to play a part in what we currently believe about different races, how we treat races, open, honest about everything that we spoke about, and then talked and touched a bit on life experiences that played a huge part in some of our current beliefs, and of course, how are we going to choose and how have we chosen to raise our children. When it comes to group dynamics and the content and process, I just gave you the content and the group dynamics with the variety of men that were there. One of the things that I noticed was they all wanted to participate and they all wanted to give information. They all had a lot of great stories to give, which was good. Um, the hardest thing I would say was utilizing the cutting off technique properly, because once they got started, I mean, they were not shy about sharing their uh, opinions or even some of the stereotypes and talking about it, hashing it out. That was a great conversation, but cutting off properly was a technique that I know how to do it, but when you're in a setting where it's like even you're so interested as a facilitator of what people want to say, but you do have the timeline. It did seem as if it was a little more. I don't want to say difficult, but I had to be a little more intentional on doing it in order for the flow of the conversation to continue. Uh, Everyone had comments. When one person gave a comment or a response, everyone wanted to respond, even if it was affirmation. I think something I did very well was validating each comment. When someone gave their opinion or gave their input, I did very well at validating their comment and making sure they understood, one, that I captured what it is as a facilitator they were trying to say or they were attempting to say, and then also giving validity to what they were saying, even if it was an opinion that they strongly felt, convicted about or felt that it was their belief. Um, it was something to kind of come in and say, "Hey, I'm hearing you say this," and first, that's thank you for your input, and we went on from there. It was really really a good conversation. Everything went very well because of the ease of me already knowing the group and having already been a leader with these individuals. To these individuals, it really was a group that we didn't have a lot of issues or anything that arose as far as how we communicated with one another. In the end, everyone walked away with a much better understanding of each other's races, white, black, with me being biracial, both Hispanic and black. I was able to share a little bit of experience and point of view from both of those angles. But an important takeaway was I was very happy with the intentional diversity in choosing the group members for this particular session. It was extremely helpful, and everyone boasted about how much they received from the session. Something that I would say I would apply in the future for group leadership is screening is vital when dealing with group sessions, and ensuring that the members, even through the screening, have a good mesh of collaboration really assisted in this success of this group. And I know that's something that would definitely help in the success of future groups that I would hold. And anything that in areas as far as I would say I would work to enhance my skills. I would say in being able to use technology a little better. Gerald did communicate through the FaceTime, but sometimes it was glitchy or he had to repeat. So making sure and ensuring to utilize the proper form of technology that either making sure he has a strong signal when he's participating, or if our signal is being. We did have a storm, like a freak storm that rolled through and really disrupted. But other than that, it was really really good. Um, I would say this as a closing thought. Um, I enjoy the group session, and I enjoy having group sessions and doing group sessions. I've done many of them in the past. I've been able to facilitate both scriptural group sessions, biblical, non-biblical, one-on-one. When I say one-on-one, I mean more like a couple in couples in groups, and me performing or facilitating group sessions with them to where I focus in on each individual collectively. Um, but I would say that a good takeaway is this: even though I knew every person that was in this group session, and even though I was already a leader to a majority of the men that were there, preparation is key. You can never discount the importance of preparation. Even though I knew them, even though it was a topic that I've spoken to many groups about and have many discussions about, have many statistics and everything else to show and go forward in my research to present my case, it always is good to prepare, because without preparation, um, I, I, that's the challenge for me. Without preparation, I can find myself becoming complacent and being very um, uh, confident or overly confident. And that's something I never want to do. I never want to present myself complacent and overly confident in my ability to facilitate. I always want to approach every single session like it is my first, and like it's going to be a challenge. So that's my report for my group leading report for this Liberty class. Really hope it is enjoyed by all. Thanks.